at the last regional here, or if G2 is truly going to be the stronger team.
Thank you very much, Leaf. And yeah, if it was down to the chat vote, then NRG would be sailing away with this one, probably 3-1. But Achieves, if NRG are to win, it's not going to be that simple, is it?
Nope, never is, unfortunately. Someone's got to make you sweat. But that being said, if you're a G2 fan, you're no stranger to having them have to work a little bit harder than perhaps they should as well throughout any given scenario.
Can we just take a second to appreciate the beauty of those G2 decals? They are stunners, aren't they? They're beautiful.
They're a vibe, that's for sure. I mean, JNaps, I wonder if he's wearing the different decal because does the captain wear the different decal or what's going on?
Maybe, that's a good theory. That's one we can ask him if they can make it forward tomorrow, and if we see them victorious. Is that the old one that he's got, JNaps, or is that just the away one for this season?
I'm not sure. I think that's the old one, if I remember correctly. No, wait, it's got to be the new one. It's got the Adidas brand on the side. It has to be the new one.
It could also be because he's the Canadian.
Oh, that's fair. Classic Leaf. He just pops up whenever there's a chance to reference Canada. Goodness me.
We get
Someone
forgotten
mute
about
that man. Anyway, we're a minute into this game, and not too much has happened so far. All we've been doing is admiring the G2 decals, Canadian or otherwise. And I'd say that represents a decent start for NRG,
Wait,
especially with Garrett G. Oh, actually, it was a steal from Garrett G. It was Justin, wasn't it, who got that touch?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Justin.
What happened here?
Oh,
okay, so Chicago, he just lost the race. I mean, I thought Chicago was going to get a piece of that. And I think it was JNaps who had to rotate back, but G2 just caught leaning. That's a classic one for G2 to give up. They have only one back, and if they get beat, it's not looking good.
No, not at all. I feel like that's also the steal of the tournament already there from Garrett after Justin had done so much work to get that. Garrett's like, yeah, I'll have that stat right there. Thanks very much. But they won't care too much because it is 1-0 to NRG in game number 1. And they're looking fast, looking nippy, not being outdone by G2's pace so far.
Ooh.
It's just been clatters into JNaps in the sky. And this is where NRG are particularly good, making those decisions in the center, whether to pass or boom the ball. They will always have that in their locker.
Kind of figuring out the way downfield right now, and it does feel a little bit of a dump and chase for NRG. Justin definitely moving as fast as he can throughout the midfield, trying to influence where the ball goes as much as possible. I think that's definitely the right person to send forward to kind of go fight G2 in the midfield. He does tend to make the best quick decisions and the fastest reads on the ball, so I think that's the right place to put him.
We also just saw Squishy go for a couple of bumps on his way out in the rotation as well, which is something that G2 were trying to do a lot in that last regional, which somewhat backfired. They looked a little bit haphazard in their approach at times. So maybe NRG have been studying G2 and they're trying to play their own game against them. We'll just saw from Squishy as anything to go on. But right now, it's just about solidity for NRG, making sure they don't give anything away. Justin's a little bit stranded on that side wall. I think he expected Garrett to get at least a piece of that ball from the first man. So that's letting G2 in. JNaps can't quite get the clean touch. Garrett's just shooing him away, sweeping out the dust. He just clears on from the backboard. Good play from NRG. It's good defending from them. They look pretty comfortable when G2 are coming forwards.
Yeah, but they really are inviting G2 to press. It doesn't feel like they're taking the most proactive line of defense here. Even Squishy gives up a free shot. I mean, he has a chance to turn in. Look at him. He's going to cut across the field right there, and he's going to cut left and just give that one up completely. I don't know if he could have actually made it, but Garrett G, I think, trying to save it because Justin knew he was about to get bumped, and I think Garrett knew it too, but doesn't catch the ball cleanly and goes straight into his own net. So he steals one, and he throws one in his own net. All things even for Garrett G.
It's such a fine line between not overcommitting and just offering no pressure and allowing your opponents in. And NRG were just starting to sneak towards the latter. And that's how G2 got their goal. They also almost got another one straight from the kickoff. And it's G2 pressure, and suddenly it's looking like G2 are the much better team now they've equalized. How different 1-1 looks compared to 0-0 or certainly 1-0 for NRG, yeah.
Yep.
Justin's underneath this one. He might be read there by Atomic. Doesn't have the angle. Garrett takes another touch, but NRG, it's like they've slowed down so much since conceding.
Wow, and Squishy doesn't get up for that one either. Lets Atomic come back, and that's into the middle. There's no way Garrett G can keep him out. Chicago swarming with G2. There's blood in the water. Here they come again.
Blood in the water, but no boost in the tanks of NRG. Justin was completely stranded in the goal line there, trying to time his jump. It just wouldn't fall for him. It wouldn't happen. Chicago with the easiest finish that he's going to get all day to make it 2-1 now to G2.
Oh, And it's tough for NRG. Now you realize, okay, we can't just sit back here and hope we're going to win a challenge on our half and get a counterattack going, because it's not happening. Atomic drops another one in.
I'm just astounded. I mean, maybe I'm doing a disservice to NRG right now. G2 have stepped up as well, and when Atomic has mechanics like that, he's going to be able to get the ball in the back of the net. But he had so much space and time in the air just to prod that past the NRG defense and then go all the way out the wall.
Well, he got that because if you notice, he had the world's cleanest challenge on that ball. I mean, he like pre-flipped it so that he ticked it on the outside part of his car, and that set him up to land with his wheels on the wall immediately. And I was like, hang on, what? Like, the timing was just immaculate.
You can't give Atomic that much space because he will take even more than you let him have. That's a lovely pass though, Justin, over the top of the backboard. Squishy's coming in. He's trying to avoid a bump as well. Just had this creature following him, trying to speed him up. It's a good touch from Justin. Squishy's in. His first touch, almost enough to let him bundle the ball in. Garrett B off the crossbar, slams it home. NRG 2-3.
Oddly enough, I feel like Squishy's approach here, since it's definitely not optimal, actually plays in NRG's favor because, I mean, Atomic's expecting Squishy to have a much better air dribble and head towards the center of the net. And since he got out in front of the ball, he had to kind of float it back towards the wall, and everyone on G2 kind of got ready to move across the goal line. So they all kind of got caught diving, and that gave Garrett G a small line to come through, give himself an opening here with 10 seconds. NRG, what you got?
Ooh, Garrett weaves it past a couple of them. Atomic, he's got the boost. It's going to be sneaking in from Justin. NRG complete the comeback.
How can you never put these guys away? How does Garrett G bob and weave through two defenders, delay JNabs getting back, have Justin drop one in the goal? It doesn't matter how shaky they look. You can never, ever count them out, is the thing about them.
I mean, I wouldn't bet on overtime just now. There's always time for one more goal. Until that ball hits the floor, JNabs is trying to get in. Atomic catches it up. Squishy's on the crossbar. He's come on the crossbar. It's panic from NRG at the end. But it is overtime. Poor old Squishy was just watching that ball in slow motion. You can hear him go, no. She scores on the crossbar. Anyway, calm down, everyone. It's overtime.
Boy, overtime out of nowhere. I mean, it doesn't really feel like, oh, he's got him on skates. Oh, my goodness. Chicago's going to close it out. He says, yeah. You tied it up. Cool. Let's move on where we win, where we know we should have.
Yeah, that was definitely a statement of we shouldn't even be in this overtime. This should be G2's game. Stop messing about. We'll take the dub. Lovely play there from Chicago at the end. An intriguing first game in this series. I don't quite know what to make of it. Any thoughts, Chiefs?
Well, I think really it was, NRG giving up way too much defensively early on. You made a couple of really nice plays to tie it up, but I mean, what are the odds you get those happening again, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this one felt like G2's game through and through, and NRG just pulled out a comeback out of nowhere. And then, I mean, the overtime, it is what it is. Chicago just makes a nice play. Sometimes you get outplayed, and that was that in OT. But that one definitely should have been G2's one, right, Leaf?
Yeah, no, I mean, I voted for them too, so I'm absolutely going to agree with you on that. And it was in the end, but I think we're sleeping on them a little too much. They went to Game 5 against Axel before, but Axel did just get a game win on Dignitas, who again is also a strong roster. So maybe Axel was actually playing pretty good in that matchup across the board. Complexity, though, again, is having a couple difficulties as well. Pittsburgh Knight took Game 1, and I believe Complexity took it back for Game 2. They did. But again, keep an eye on the Knights. Go watch all these streams across the board. A lot of teams are starting to really show up in North America. We're getting some great matchups.
It's honestly my favorite day in the RLCS, day one. I just love seeing all of these results come in, and then it boils down to those last couple of series in the prize. But for now, we're focusing here. Atomic starting off like he started off the first game. Oh,
he's so good. I mean, great lead from Chicago. Give him anything on the wall and he'll make something happen. And look at how soft he hits that. I mean, the line that NRG takes there to challenge that is as if Atomic is going to rip that as hard as he can. And Atomic saw that as he's about to strike the ball. Just dips the nose down, lets it come off soft, and throws the changeup at just the right time.
G2 looking speedy in their approach as the demos coming in front of them. Chicago is going for a few. Justin's just about got a touch there, but JNats is coming in now. G2 are actually quietly looking very, very good right now. The mechanics are...
Oh, no!
I mean, JNats could... I think he's so annoyed at Atomic, he's like, right, if you can't score it, mate, then I'll send it back to our own goal line. We can try again.
Unfortunately, Atomic, it was a tough shot. I think he needed the help, but the ball, just where it got placed, it was just unscorable. Atomic with a bouncer combined. I think Chicago just cleared that ball. Does he score? You're joking. He's going to steal he's going to save his teammate's goal, and then he's going to get a couple of bumps and demos from his teammates, and he's going to score?
So, in the same series, we've seen Garrett steal a bona fide Justin Wonder goal from Justin's little speedy play on the wall. And then we've seen Chicago do the most gracious, impeccable mechanical steal we've ever seen. So, the two ends of the stealing pendulum so far in this series.
I'm just amazed that even worked out. I mean, you make it clear like that, and how does G2 have the mental picture of the situation, right? Like Jaina, like Chicago just came flying across the middle of the pitch and just ticked the ball off the sidewall, and they instantly turn and get demos in the goal because they know they can score.
They know.
They're on one, man. Like, how do you stop it?
I mean, this is looking a lot more like the G2 that we come to expect. Look how fast they are. The passes are inch perfect. Atomic involved yet again, but it's Chicago with the finish. Look at this touch here from Atomic, sorry. There. Oh, so quick.
And it's all from that landing on that first challenge, right? He lands with full speed. He gets the little chip over one, and he's still moving at max speed around that corner that lets him catch the defender off guard a little bit with how smooth he came around, and catches him with the pace as well. So great movement from Atomic.
Any chance we're going to see yet another crazy NRG comeback? It would have to start soon, you'd expect. 3 minutes to score 3 goals. They managed to get 2 in 25 seconds or so in the first game, so there is some precedent of them doing it, but look how close they all are. They need a call. Nobody seemed to quite know who was going for that ball.
So what do you do if you're NRG? I mean, this situation, this exact one has been pretty much game 1 and game 2. Here comes G2 out of the midfield, press. Okay, here comes NRG counterattack. Look, the ball gets saved, and now you're going to get put under the same amount of pressure, and you have to make something happen. It's like NRG, they just don't have the weight behind the counterattack.
Touch. Atomic, how have you managed to not only read that off the backboard, but to avoid the own goal and send it so gracefully to the side of your own net? That was a lovely touch from Atomic. After Squishy had done so much good work, and now he's got his own redirect. Chicago's coming in, won't quite be a goal for them. But Atomic is looking a little bit like Winter Major Atomic from last season. He is looking flawless so far in this series. Another save from him from the side. He can defend as well, Achieved.
I mean, he can do, I think, literally anything. If there's anybody who I might say would take Justin's crown of put him in the 1-on-2 and he'll come out more often than not, it might be Atomic. And any aspect of the pitch, that guy's got it covered.
He's got it all. So far in this game, it's been a great advert for G2, this one. This has been them pretty much at their best, and NRG, unfortunately, aren't quite able to deal with it. They're not handling it very well. And they're trying. They're really trying to get something going, but G2 are just squeezing the life out of them. The boost game belongs to G2. The passes are better. The decision-making. NRG, to their credit, have kept this one to 3, and if you keep it to 3, you can get yourself a goal. Justin's up in the air. Squishy's in front of him, trying to bump Atomic out the way. But again, eyes on the back of his head. It's actually going to backfire. Is that one going all the way in? Not quite. And for once, Atomic's auto-aim wasn't quite loaded yet.
They had it, though. I mean, they knew that NRG was going to try and press right there. And they had such great timing on their challenges. Atomic, again, trying to see what he can find in that G2 defense. Or NRG defense, excuse me. But NRG, you'd just like to see him have a little bit more concrete control of the ball, because when was the last time you fell off the backboard and could still make the save that cleanly?
Me? It's been a while, now I think about it. I think I'll have to wrap my brain. We'll get back to you about that one, Achieved. When was the last
If
time
I could
you
look
saved...
that graceful as I made a mistake and still make the play. Oh, man.
When was the last time you saved your teammate's shot and instead of just being abused on quick chat, you ended up scoring an absolute banging yourself from the
and get
same
the
play?
nice shots instead.
Yeah, your teammate's like, wow, great decision to steal my goal. Wow, well done. As you guys can probably tell listening on, we're talking as if this second game is dead. And I think, frankly, I mean, it's double, triple dead now as Atomic sinks the fourth, but it seemed pretty dead since about 2-0 to me.
Man, that's a tight seam, too. I mean, Squishy's literal pixels away from denying this fourth goal. I mean, that was the tightest line possible, I think, that ball gets all the way up the pitch.
I feel like G2 are a team that just need a little bit of pressure on them. You know, to be able to make the majors, suddenly they're having to perform again. As in, let me rephrase, they're having to perform again. It's been a little bit simple for them to make it to these majors since the start, I guess, of Season X. They've all had it their own way, but now they're really up against the wall. They have to perform in this tournament, and my goodness, Chiefs, they are performing so far in this tournament.
Well, I would say this one feels pretty knocked down, lock it down. G2 got this in the bag, but that's what I thought about complexity and optic. And game 3 threw every expectation I had out of the window. So,
do you want to talk about them again?
Sure.
Because they might do it. FaZe was on match point, and FaZe just needs to win this, and they'll clinch major. But Optic just won game 3, so maybe another reverse sweep. I don't know.
Maybe.
Train rolling when you got it going.
Yeah.
Well, they let it stop. They took a stop for a bit for 2 games. Now the train's back on course. They're heading to victory. Maybe we'll find out in that one. Space Station, they're also on match point. Actually, I think they may have just ended, and it looks like Furia may have taken. No, they didn't. Space Station did sweep, I believe. So that's that one's done. They're cruising through that one on the winner's side, and the other side, all the teams are kind of having trouble with each other. They're all relatively close matchups. So.
Okay. Well, V1 in the lowers and not storming away. So an interesting one for version 1. It's got some work to do if they want to make it to the major. They have to win 2 series, don't they, version 1? I believe.
Yes, they had to win 2 series today to qualify, yeah.
So if they go 0-2, that suddenly gets a little bit scary for version 1. Imagine that, winning the second regional and then we didn't do what needed to be done.
It's the long road.
Never easy. It's never easy to make a major. That is just seems to be the prevailing thought of these final regionals, of these invitationals. The G2 are making this series look pretty easy so far. NRG have to speed up. They've got to make these passes connect. And I think defend a little bit more on the front foot. It's like they're happy to play passively when they're defending, and it's really not working against G2 the way they're playing. Because if you sit back, they're just going to demo you.
Or Atomic's just going to absolutely destroy someone somewhere on a challenge. And NRG's the type to, let you bring the ball through deep. And that's not going to work because Atomic will get the ball through that last guy.
Chicago as well, he's playing speedily as well. All of G2 just fluid. There's this pass from JNabs. Of course, it's perfectly to Atomic. Atomic pre-jumping as well is what won them that winter major. He was just on devastating form back then.
Does that double commit that cost him the goal?
Oh no, I think it was just a poor touch from Justin. Instead of sending it long, it just went high, but Squishy with a huge dunk. Sends Atomic back. NRG, it's like 0-0 after a minute and a half. A demo comes in. Justin could be able to take the lead from them, but JNap storms in. And of course, he tees up the pre-jumping Atomic. That was a pre-flip as well from Atomic.
Oh, great timing. Squishy's post. Oh, he got it! Wow! Okay, so I don't hate Chicago's idea right there to try and shoot that back post. Because, I mean, the logical choice as the defender there is dive to the opposite side because that's where the big part of the net is. And Squishy's got the reactions to pull that one back and hit the backflip. Hey, credit to you. That was a monster save.
It keeps NRG in this third game. Squishy's up against JNats now. He has had a couple of flip resets as well in the corner as Squishy, so he's starting to get involved in the ball. Not quite able to get that final pass that NRG need him to make. Garrett's turn this time. Wants to get a bump and he gets it. Squishy tries to come in but can't quite make it. And then JNats with a huge 50-50. And Atomic is through. What can he do here? And the corner Chicago's waiting, but it's sent high by Squishy again, who's doing a lot of work as he gets completely faked out the way by Chicago. Then it hits the crossbar. Justin's the last man back. soon as G2 get the ball achieves, it looks terrifying for NRG.
Does get real dicey real quick. But that being said, it doesn't feel like G2 has had quite the numbers to finish the job, as finally they, even with the demo, can't get it done. Justin, of course, coming across net. I should have known he was back there. He always is somewhere. Redirect for Squishy, denied by Atomic. Nice read.
Oh, and then Squishy and Garrett hit each other just when Garrett was going to make it through in the corner. That's disappointing. That's a lovely first touch though from Justin. The flip reset from the corner. He gets it past one, but Atomic saw it coming. These people are superhuman, Achieves. There's no way they can always predict exactly what their opponents are doing.
That's the thing, though, that you also understand the synergy, too, right? Because, like, Atomic knows, okay, teammates got to defend it in front of the net, and Chicago goes to the opposite corner for a clear. Oh, my gosh, you can't buy a goal right now.
NRG are starting to have some shots, though. Justin's had 3 of them. They've all been good, too. Forcing good saves from G2. You keep trying that, eventually you will break through those defenses. Good pass from Justin. Garrett G, it's saved again by JNaps. Squishy's coming in. G2 all of a sudden having some defending to do. Squishy's bypassed by JNaps. Justin's there, wants to slow the ball down for himself, but it's not quite happening. So Squishy clears a path. That's a great demo from him. So hopefully for NRG, Chicago won't be able to do too much damage as he rotates out, but that's a lovely passing attempt from JNaps. It's met by Chicago. More defending.
Oh, no!
Finally, how did that go in?
So it tips off Atomic, and it actually goes into the nose of, I think, Squishy? And it goes in the top corner. Oh, devastating.
That is a little bit devastating. The caveat, if you're an NRG fan, if you're a G2 fan, you're thinking, wow, yeah, I'm really glad that happened.
I nailed that.
Yeah. I was just hoping there'd be some life to this series. Come on, NRG, you got 40 seconds. They did it in the first game, Achieves.
There's been life, to be fair. I mean, NRG, some of those counterattacks, I don't know how G2 pulled those off the goal line. I mean, some of those saves were, like the Chicago one all the way to the back post, Atomic, with the perfect layering, knowing that his teammate's going to cover one part and he just has to cover the other one because that's the only spot it goes in. Like, I don't know how they figure out where they need to go on defense on a couple of those NRG shots. So you got to tip your cap to the G2 defense here in Game 3.
Yeah, it's been huge. The amount of saves, the brilliance of the saves that they've made. Quality stuff from G2. And they're seeing this series away potentially on the attack. That's a great touch from Justin towards Squishy. Garrett G is called into action. Chicago meets him in the air. Is the touch going to be there from NRG? No, it is not. And we have our first sweep on the mainstream of the day. It's 3-0 to G2.
Hey, well played. Honestly, I mean, looked like they deserved it. NRG looked like they definitely had like a chance, but I mean, I don't see how you were going to get by that G2 defense, Leaf. I don't think it was happening.
No, it was. I don't get why anyone would have, predicted them.
It was not a bad pick. I respect the idea. It was possible. There was possibility.
Yeah.
But you got the G2, like you said, Cole, that knows they have to get it done. And they got it done.
I feel like that was a combination of recency bias and heart overhead right there for me to pick NRG, because I mean G2 looked like the superior team pretty much from beginning to end. NRG actually started the first game really well. Do you remember when they took the lead?
Yeah,
we were saying how quick. No, not even the comeback. Right at the start of the game, we were saying how fast they were playing.
Oh yeah.
And they were dealing with G2's attack, and then suddenly G2, I guess they all leaned forward in their chairs. And
they
pretty much the end of that.
Position one, and and then there was no shot.
Well, I do want to update. There's a couple other matchups right now.